Integrating piecewise functions seems difficult. The idea should be very simple though. So remember, a piecewise function is changing based upon the domain. So if you picture a number line, let me just draw a number line for this problem real quick. So if you picture the number line right at 0, or like in this one, -1, or, so it's going to change. So for this one in particular, it was 0. To the left is 0, our graph is going to be cosine of x. Our function's cosine of x. And to the right of 0, it's 1 minus 2x. Over here, it would be to the right of -1, we would be using this graph. And to the left of -1, we're using this graph. So it's just changing. So we're just going to have two different integrals really going on. So where would -pi/2 land? That would land over here. And where would 1 land? That would land over here. So we're just integrating from -pi/2 to 1. The thing is, our function splits at 0. Splits at 0, right? So let's go ahead and split it up. And we just got to be careful that we use to the left of 0, we're using this function. Wow, these integral signs are really ugly. Sometimes I can draw these, sometimes I can't. So I'm splitting it up at 0. So we'll have our left one. That's going to be the interval on the left from -pi/2 to 0. And then we'll have from 0 to 1. So to the left is cosine, and then to the right is 1 minus 2x. What was it again? 1 minus 2x. Let's make some space here. These are going to take quite a bit of room. Really not difficult. They just take a lot of room. So antiderivative cosine is going to be sine. And then this antiderivative is going to be x minus x squared. Then we just plug it in. So that's going to be for the sine right there. So I'm going to put some brackets there just to represent that one there. Big brackets and then plus, big brackets again. And so sine of 0, if you remember the unit circle, is just going to be 0 minus -1. So where am I getting that -1 from? So -pi/2 is just going pi/2 backwards, right? That's going to be -pi/2, which your y value is going to be -1. Then we're going to have 1 minus 1, which is 0. 0 minus 0, which is 0. So really this answer is just going to be 1. And that's it for that. So that's how you deal with it. Really, it's just splitting it up. That's the main part. That's the only thing that's new. From there, it's just be careful of the details. Careful as you integrate. Take your time. Let's talk about absolute value, though, real quick. So absolute value, 3x plus 3. What goes on with an absolute value function? So absolute value means we're not going to have anything negative. So 3x plus 3 is just, going to be a line. But we're going to take part of that line, the part that's negative, and we're going to flip it. So when we want to integrate that, we need to look at this 3x plus 3, figure out which part's negative, and really do the opposite of it. So we take that, remember, double negative is going to make it positive. So we're going to figure out what interval is at negative, and we're going to do the opposite of the area. Because normally, if we just integrate 3x plus 3, we'd end up with this negative area, but the absolute value, we're going to take that negative area and do the opposite to make it positive area. And that's kind of the main idea. So let's go ahead and do an interval test on this, and then we'll figure out where to split it at. So 3x plus 3 equals 0. You could factor this if that's the way you want to solve it. X equals -1. Let's do the interval test now. At -1. So if we test a value to the left, if you test -2, -2 plus 1 is negative. Test 0, something to the right of -1, you get a positive. So it's negative to the left of -1. So I'm going to split up this integral like this. Really, let me just put the absolute value in there right now. So to the left of -1, so that's going to be from -3 to -1. We're going to do the opposite. That's what's, because normally, since it's negative, we're going to get negative area. But if I do the opposite of the negative area, it'll make it positive area. And we'll get rid of the absolute value. Plus, since this is positive area, we'll just add it from -1 to 1. So we're going to complete that integral from -3 to 1. We're just taking that split at -1 there. And this is what we're evaluating. And I'm not going to do the entire evaluation. You know you're going to get 3x squared over 2 plus 3x from -3 to -1 plus, same thing really, 3x squared over 2 plus 3x from -1 to 1. We're going to have some fractions in there. I guess I might as well just continue this evaluation. So I'm going to put big bracket here, conquer this one here. So we're going to have negative 3 times 1 squared over 2 plus 3 times 1 minus, oops. So I don't like this negative out front. Dealing with that. Got to be careful. So it's minus for that one. Then we're going to subtract. Really, we're going to be subtracting the negative, right? So it's going to have that double negative. Just fine. Trying to think of the most straightforward way we can go about this. That's why. This one's positive, so it's a little less worrisome. Okay. So once again, let's just go over what happened with that negative over here. So I put the negative in front of it each time, just to represent that whole thing. And remember, you're subtracting, so that's why there's that double negative. So we're just going to simplify. So this is going to be 3 over 2 plus 3. Three is 6 over 2, right? Let's get that common denominator now. Plus, over here we'll have 27 over 2. Negative 3 squared is 9 times 3 is 27 over 2. minus 9. 9 times 2 is 18, though. So let's put that over 2. Plus, we'll have 3 over 2 plus 6 over 2. So that's kind of the same. I think I messed something up here. Yeah, I did. -1 is what should have got plugged in. Yeah, -1 should have been plugged in right here. Won't change much, just changes to a minus there. That's what I'm saying. Be very careful with the details. So that's what's going to get you. And that's why I'm going over this part. Usually I kind of leave off right here and go, okay, I set it up for you, you know, good luck. But it's a lot of these details that get everyone, you know. 3 minus 6 is -3 over 2. Of course, we have that negative in front of it. Plus 27 minus 18 is going to be 9 over 2. Plus, let's take a look at the other one. Well, 3 plus 6 is 9 over 2. And then 3 over 2 minus 6 over 2 is -3 over 2. Double negative will become a positive 3 over 2. Continuing on, so that's 3 over 2 plus 9 over 2 is 12 over 2. Plus another 12 over 2. Which would be 24 over 2, or 6 plus 6, which is 12. And that's how you cover the absolute value one. The main thing was kind of earlier on. And what we covered there, the rest of it is just little details.